Hello everybody. I'm making this current video to share with you all why I'm doing these videos in the first place. And there's a number of reasons, but my main one is to help people of all types. You know, people who are heavily spiritual, who trying to make their lives better, move forward with things, don't know much about things, and so on. And I've had people call me up, text me, email me directly who don't leave posts. That's fine too. And I've had some interesting feedback, some similar things, some good things, some um, critiques, if you will. Um, the most common one that I've had is people tell me I look depressed or tired, um, which I'll get into in a moment. I'm tired more than anything. Um, and other people have told me that the videos are quite inspirational. It's helped them move past, their grind, do things for themselves. Other people have said I look all over the place. Well, I do have ADHD, which is generally under control, but there's also a lot I have to talk about, which is why I go off topic sometimes. And I've also had people question why aren't you working? Why aren't you doing this or that? Or aren't you worried about money? And so on. And so to address why sometimes I change topics in the middle of a video is because, one, there's a lot to talk about, and I've been on other people's video sites who start talking about something and they mention something, they never talk about it again, nor do they post a video. And I've seen comments and, well, I really want to know about that. You mentioned this point at this one part of your video, and they never post anything. So that's something I didn't want to have on my channel. Plus, there's the ADHD, which is generally under control, but sometimes I go off topic. Some of the other things, as far as being depressed or looking tired or looking depressed or being sad, it's completely far from the truth, believe it or not. I'm actually quite happy inside myself. Sometimes I have little setbacks, and I deal with them. You know, I meditate, whatever. I don't listen to negative things or people. I'm not saying from my friends or whatever, but just in general. And as far as depression, well, I was quite depressed last spring, early during the summer. Granted, my mother died, and trying to plan the wedding, work was crazy, working everyone like dogs, and some other people went on leave. So the other question is mental health, which is why I'm not working right now. I'm recuperating. I'm resting. My wife's running the business. I try and help out when I can on weekends, not to interfere with insurance and things. Even when I'm doing my own things to keep busy, chores, going to the store, doing banking, even that sometimes wears me down, but I keep going. I've known other people who've gone back to work after something like some experience like mine, and they were even worse off than before. They ended up in the hospital. Some people say, well, if you get more money, you'll be happy. I've had families members say that, and we'll put it this way: my father and his partner both have six-figure salaries, and they're quite, I wouldn't say miserable all the time, but very often they complain about how expensive everything is, how they're always broke, how much they have to work, anywhere from 50 to 70 hours a week just to have that money. And they'll complain about simple things, but they don't do anything to change their lifestyle. They still go on fancy trips, go out for fancy dinners, and stuck with it after. I also know friends who have gone back to work after a burnout, and they ended up being in a worse company. Yeah, they were making almost double the salary, but they were putting up with a whole bunch of crap, which involved legal suits. People were harassing them, etc., etc., and they ended up being off again on stress leave. The most common thing that I've been hearing from people, I've met so many people who wish they could start their own business, wish they could have their small little corner of the earth all for them, instead of working like a dog for somebody else, making somebody else richer, and they don't know how. And some of them have told me my videos open their eyes or allow them to see that they're not alone. That was the biggest thing for me during this process, is realizing that I'm not alone. There's other people who've been going through this. I know a few people right now who are actually in the middle of something like this, or were on the verge of a burnout. But the only thing that keeps them motivated on this cycle is money. And all I can tell you is the other people that I've known who've broken free of this cycle, they've listened to what they felt inside. It was a bit rocky at first, and they've moved forward with their lives, and they're much happier. For the ones that have a family, their families are much happier, and they have more free time. And yeah, it might be a bit less of money, instead of 80,000, they might only be making 50 or whatever, but who cares? You're sustaining yourself, you're doing something you like, and if something stressful comes up, you deal with it maturely and not freak out. And the other more important thing is taking care of your health, eating well, exercising, getting enough sleep, doing fun things, spending time with family. That's what keeps people from being depressed. And my depression, burnout, etc., was caused by situational. For years, I had to deal with my mom being ill, visiting her every 2 weeks for the past 8 years, driving out of town, 2 hours each way and back in one day. Then I had my job, and I had family, friends, workouts. I was balancing all of that, and it got to a point where it was too much. And a lot of people I spoke to were not comfortable sharing that, you know what, yeah, I was going through similar things too. And I'm like, I can't believe it. I thought I was the only one. No one else at work talks like this. But you know what? I bet there's more people than you realize who are going through something like that and wish they could change it but don't know how. And they're worried about what people will think. But as soon as you can break free from that, you'll. I promise you, at least for me, I've been a lot happier. There are days where I'm tired. I have trouble getting out of bed, but sometimes I do anyway. I push myself. Other times I just can't. Other times I feel a bit down. But we're sustaining ourselves. We always have food on the table and healthy food. We have fun, we see friends, we go out and do things, we travel if we want to, or if we're planning on traveling, we'll start saving in advance. And we're pretty good. Yeah, some days it's a bit stressful, but for the most part, I can honestly say, since we've broken free of this cycle, we've been fine. And my wife was working for a big company where we are. And she got to a point, there were other people in her department who started running out of gas. I ended up at the emergency with her twice for intravenous's at one point. She was so sick with flus and stomach flus and viruses, she actually was coughing up blood. And when she went into work, after being in the hospital with the doctor's notes, they got mad at her even with the hospital notes, and they even saw her coughing up blood at one time. They didn't care. They said, "You're paid to work, not be sick." Well, how can you work if you're sick? And that's the cycle I'm talking about. Um, if you already have your own business, that's great. There's other ways you can fix stress in your life, in your lives, and all I can say is I'm moving forward, and I actually think it's a good thing. Be looking the way I do at various stages, because it'll show my progression. It'll show my healing. My first video, I looked drained, and but I was depressed. No, just very tired and run down. I go through different cycles, and I'm going to be seeing my doctor soon. I'm going to tell him how I feel. But all through this, I've been keeping busy. I've been doing my meditations. I've been getting enough sleep. There's a whole bunch of people where we are who have the flu. My wife and I both haven't got sick, and I'm thankful for that. And at the same time, I'm a bit tired, but we haven't been sick, really sick, and everyone else is out sick, out working, running around. My poor father had to travel to 2 different places within a time span of a week for work, and he's had a bad flu and chest infection or virus at the same time, but he feels he can't stop. And he, to be honest, he should be retiring, but he's still going because of the lifestyle that they live. He doesn't want to make any changes, but or doesn't think they can make changes, and that's what it is. For us, life is about being stress free. I can honestly say money will not bring you happiness, because when we were earning more while we were both working, we were both sick all the time. No matter how healthy we ate, how much exercise we did, we were sick, and we were sick at least 3 or 4 times a year. Now we don't get sick, and business is going well, and it's moving in the right direction. My wife's doing a lot to make sure that happens, and that's all that really matters. And for all of you who think there's no way or can't understand how, just do what you feel inside of your stomach and let the universe's abundance take care of you. It's a hard concept to understand. I understand that, or you might think I'm crazy or screwed up, but there's more and more people who are starting to live this way. And that's how you're going to find true happiness, is to be doing something for yourself, not for someone else. And being healthy, being stress-free, or at least mostly stress-free, having time for your family, having time for you, relaxing, self-healing. That's all that really matters. And if people have trouble understanding that, I get you. I didn't understand it a few years ago. I would have said this guy's crazy. But since I've made my changes, I couldn't have been happier. Even though I look tired or sad, but I'm not. I laugh. We watch funny things. We see friends. We tell jokes. People who are around me more often know me better than that. And I can honestly say a lot of depression and stress and sadness people come up have happened to them is situational. And people sometimes think they can't change their situation. How am I going to live? How am I going to do this? The key is to just live in the now and I didn't understand this at all. I would have said this sounds crazy. I still have trouble with it, but the more and more I fight for that, the more better off I feel, and things are moving a better direction. So, and I just want to put these things out there to help people realize they can have a better life, they can be happier, they can be healthier, they can be stress free, they don't have to live in depression or with anxiety. And where there's a will, there's a way. And it takes a while to get used to, but that's just the way it is. That's the way things are moving towards. Um, and the sooner you find things within yourself and find your own truths, the sooner you'll be able to do this. Anyway, I gotta run, got some things to do, and gonna make a good dinner tonight. Some good fish with various vegetables and squash. So, and we're gonna watch a funny movie and have a glass of wine and see what's up. Anyway, have a good afternoon.